how many of you are guilty of judging a book by its cover, or giving something a bad opinion because someone else does? These are a few of the questions that arise when I think about marijuana. It is illegal for years, it's been illegal, and therefore makes people assume that it's bad. But how many of those people actually sat down and researched marijuana before making that judgment? I have personally sat down and did that very research, learned the history of why it's illegal, and developed an honest opinion on the matter. I feel that marijuana should be legalized, and my reason is based on truth, facts, and evidence. I'm going to share a short history of marijuana, the medical breakthroughs that it's offered us through the years, and some of the ethical and economical improvements that it's done to society. According to JustSayNow.com, 50% of Americans support the legalization of marijuana, while 46% do not, and 4% are on the fence about it. This poll was put together by Gallup, which is one of the most respected pollsters in the world. Marijuana, it was in China in 3727 BC, traveled from China to India, to North Africa, to Europe, arriving there approximately around 580. The Spanish carried marijuana aboard the ship to the New World in 1545. By 1611, it had become a staple crop in Jamestown, Virginia. Marijuana has been used medicinally, recreationally, harvested as a cash crop for clothing, incense, oils, etc. I actually have a small chart, and it's probably kind of hard to read, but it says paper products, textiles, molded plastics, body care products, construction, livestock feed, livestock bedding, nutritional supplements, essential oils, medicines, and food. These are all the things that marijuana can be used for. A lot of people think drugs. No, it's actually got a lot more benefits than just being a drug. See, according to drugwarrant.com, America's first marijuana law was enacted in Jamestown, Colony, Virginia in 1619. It was a law ordering all farmers to grow hemp seed, and there were other must-grow laws over the next 200 years, but you could actually be jailed for not growing hemp. And most of the time, hemp was considered a legal tender, and you could even pay your taxes by using hemp. It was such a critical crop for a number of purposes that the government went out of its way to encourage growth. It was even used in the military to make rope and other survival things. But politicians wanted to appear tough on crime and tough on penalties, constant increase in spending on law enforcement and prisons, racist applications of drug laws, meaning the U.S. didn't want Mexico making more money, taxpayer-funded propaganda, and finally, political contributions from corporations that profit from marijuana being illegal, like pharmaceutical companies and alcohol manufacturers, and you name it. They all seen marijuana as competition and an easy go so they could make an easy dime. So obviously it worked. So, but there's been a lot of medical breakthroughs since then. It's widely known as one of the safest low-risk active substances if used properly. To this day, there have been no recorded deaths due to an overdose, and there are very few dangerous side effects. In addition, there is no evidence to show that marijuana carries a risk of true addiction to the body. The same cannot be said for other medications that are used to treat diseases such as AIDS, cancer, glaucoma, multiple sclerosis, and epilepsy. It controls nausea and vomiting, something that chemotherapy is actually responsible for. And medical marijuana is used as a chronic pain management tool. It is very safe, and it actually has helped a lot of people with anorexia develop an appetite and keep weight on, even after they've gained the weight. they will continue to keep that weight stable. Let's see, there has been a long-term study that THC doubles the appetite, and the patients tend to retain a stable body weight over the course of 7 months. This brings me to the ethical and economical improvements. Marijuana can be used as a gel cap, cannabis extract, vaporizer, inhalation, and obviously smoked in different ways, and it's best to use it in moderation. Among its other drug counterparts, marijuana is by far the least physically harmful. Cigarettes, alcohol, prescription painkillers, and even sleep aids are all highly addictive, and all can lead to death. Even Tylenol is so damaging that Vicodin and Percocet are being considered to be illegal because of Tylenol, not the opiates in them. You got to be safe. Never use cannabis before or during driving or other activities, no different than drinking and driving and anything else. It's not safe. Use common sense. And if a person has not already chosen to smoke marijuana, legalizing the drug isn't going to make them. So whoever's mind is made up, they're already doing it. It's not going to change much. Except, the one thing it is going to change, though, is the amount of money that we're paying on taxes to keep the prisoners in jail for marijuana. It's $11.3 billion less a year that we will have to pay, us taxpayers will have to pay, if they legalize marijuana. I'm actually going to show a chart. This is a pie chart I put together, what it costs to house an inmate per year. Okay. Security and administration costs $23,156. Healthcare, $12,442. Operations, $7,214. Rehab is $1,612. Inmate support, $2,562. And it's $129.04 per inmate a day to keep them in there. So, you can do the math. This is what you are paying to keep people in jail for marijuana, which isn't going to kill anybody. And now I want to show you something even more interesting. This chart here shows how many people are in jail for marijuana possession and the small amount of people that are in jail for heroin and cocaine, which we know is going to kill you. So, what are they doing? They're arresting people for marijuana, but letting all these other people run the street. So legalizing marijuana can actually focus law enforcement on more serious issues, like drugs that'll actually kill you, and murder and rape and all that other stuff that they're not putting 100% focus on. And I have one more chart here, and this shows that violence has actually went down through the years as marijuana consumption has increased. So that's pretty interesting. You can see it right there. So there is the short history of marijuana, the medical breakthroughs, and ethical and economical improvements. And I sincerely encourage all of you to embrace the information that I have provided today and make an honest effort to consider marijuana a positive movement to society. Even if you're not a participant, there are many people that do participate in it, so please have respect. And they deserve the same amount of respect as anyone else. And what you see as a bad thing today could actually save your life tomorrow. So try to keep an open mind and support the legalization of marijuana. And it makes no sense to continue to treat nearly half of all Americans as criminals. Thank you for your time.